When I think about Mercedes AMG, I think about relentless power, massive displacement, an exhaust rumble that could tear down a brick wall, and wheel arches wide enough to fit the wheels of an asphalt paving machine. In this video, I'm going to compare the golden era of AMG design to what's going on with AMG today and let you know my thoughts on it, because AMG isn't what it used to be. It's not as special anymore. It's becoming diluted with models that don't check the AMG boxes, with cars fitted with the legendary 63 badge, but at the same time being powered by a 4-cylinder and even EVs. There's still some V8 beasts out there for the 2022 lineup and even the 2023, such as the SL63, which still has a hand-built one-man engine and the completely insane 831 horsepower AMG GT 63E performance, but they're slowly being phased out in favor of EVs, as we see now with the EQE, the EQS, and all the entire EQ lineup. But it's not just the powertrains that are changing here with AMG, so is the design. They're not as mental as they used to be, even though I think Mercedes could still pull off a proper looking AMG EV if they really wanted to and if they really put in the effort to do so. So let me show you here what I mean in Photoshop. So this is, in my opinion, the golden era of Mercedes AMG, this entire collage that I'm gonna walk you through. Up here, we have the legendary 300CE AMG. This came in both a coupe and a four-door sedan. And this sedan was actually faster than the Ferraris and the Porsches of 1986. 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds. You can have it with either a 5-liter V8 or even a 6-liter V8. But just have a look at this design. The normal 300CE looks like your granddad's car. It looks classy and elegant, but what AMG does so well is turning these granddad cars into something that is completely the opposite by just tweaking some of the styling features. Here we have the 5-spoke AMG wheels. As you can see, we have the widened fender, we have a sort of a spoiler in the rear end here, and we also have the body kit that is the front spoiler, and you have the side skirt here also in the rear. It just creates such a menacing looking Mercedes, and this is called the Hammer. The Germans thought it was subtle as a hammer, and that's where he got the name from. The 231 horsepower 190E AMG, which I also think they did a fantastic job turning the pretty subtle looking 190 into a beast of a machine, not just by the performance. It has, as I said, 231 horsepower, which is pretty good for this time, but it also looks the part. Just have a look at this. The wing or the rear part, it has an added part just like we have on the Hammer up here. They did the same thing on the Mercedes 190E in the rear, and I think it looks so cool. It's also lower. We have the dual exhaust, and the entire car all around just sits lower to the ground, in addition to these 5-spoke AMG design wheels that are some of our favorite wheels of all time. And if you were to buy this new, you can only have it in either black or silver. And I think that's, when I think about it, I think that would be a cool tradition to bring back. When you buy a Mercedes AMG, you can only choose between black and silver. I think it suits the AMG brand. And this 190 AMG was only made in 200 examples. So you'd be very lucky if you ever spot one of these original 190E AMGs. And then we have this. This is the 200 horsepower. This is actually not an AMG. This is an Evo, 190 Evo. I just put it in here because I want to show you what Mercedes was up to in the late 80s, creating this super sweet looking designs out of normal sedans. And I think that's what's lacking in today's AMG cars. We don't have crazy fenders like this, crazy wide body kits like this. We don't have insane wings in the rear ends of the new E-Class, for example. It just doesn't exist anymore, or the C-Class in this case. And this was built in 502 examples, so it's a little bit more common, if you can say that, than the 190E AMG, but it's still very rare. It has 200 horsepower instead of the 231 of the 190E AMG. If someone would ask me what would be your favorite car design-wise ever made. Ever made is a very hard thing to pinpoint, but within the last 30 years, to me, it is the R129 SL500. And this specific SL that we have right here is the SL73, with the biggest engine Mercedes has ever put in a production car. It's a 7.3 liter V12. It's actually the same engine that Pagani used in their first Zondas, and I think it's such a stunning design, a classic Bruno Sacco style, and it's a timeless design that just gets better and better every single year. I look at this design, and hopefully one day I will be able to track down a nice R129 SL500 black with the black interior, 2001 with the AMG package. That is my dream cruiser car. The thing is, I don't think we're gonna see designs like this from Mercedes. It just doesn't suit the era anymore to have a clean cut design like this with these type of proportions and this gorgeous, subtle, elegant face that isn't aggressive, but it still has this powerful vibe to it and confidence to the front end. And when I show you the new AMG models, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by them turning more aggressive now, which I don't think suit Mercedes. It's more like BMW, but more on that later. We still have the CL55 to talk about right here. Also one of the most beautiful coupes in the last 20 to 30 years. I love this design, and this is now coming into the next generation of Mercedes design philosophy, going from the R129 to this new style. And I actually prefer the non-facelift one. The facelift one has 4 white bars in here, but I actually prefer these older ones. I just think they look more classy and less busy in the rear end. But these are details that I love about these Mercedes AMG models of this era. And we have the same kind of design in the bumper of the SL73, as you can see right here. These bumpers just scream AMG to me. And the thing is, they had the same style of bumper on all AMG models of this time. And this was a crazy era for Mercedes. They were still having a lot of fun. They even put the V8, the 55 engine, the 5.4 liter V8, they smacked that into the SLK, the tiny little roadster of the time. So it shows that they still had a lot of fun with big displacement in small cars. And then we have the C63S, a more recent model, and I think this is one of these cars that if you buy one today with low mileage in great condition and you hold on to it, it's just gonna keep climbing and climbing in value, because this is the last V8 C AMG there will ever be, most likely. It is a bi-turbo. You have 500 horsepower in this beast. And I think what Mercedes did here to the AMG version compared to the non-AMG coupe of the C-Class is they widened everything, and it looks so much more planted than the normal C coupe, even the C43. We're gonna talk more about those models when we look at the new models. I love this car. I made an in-person review of this car not that long ago. I got to drive it. It's a fantastic driving experience. One of these cars that you can cross continents in if you want to. And we have this gorgeous, same kind of styling, not styling, but same kind of philosophy in the front end styling like we have in the R129 SL, where you have this smiling, gracefully smiling grille. It looks like it has some sort of makeup on it. A very confident look, but it doesn't look aggressive, and that's exactly what I think Mercedes has always been and should continue to be. So now let's have a look at the new ones and what's going on here. So up top, we have the brand new Mercedes C43 AMG. So the C43 and the C63 will both be powered by the same 4-liter turbo engine. And that's the thing, you know, you can still make cool cars like this, but AMG, but I think they should stand out more from the rest of the lineup. They're not special anymore, and it doesn't help that they're now powered by a 4-cylinder. It's still a beautiful design, this car. I do wish that we still had the graceful smile smile instead of the frown in the C-Class like we have on these new C-Class, and they're losing that gracefulness of Mercedes and what they've always been. So you have a 4-cylinder with 408 horsepower in the C-Class going into the SL43. They detuned the 4-cylinder, and here it has 381 horsepower. So it's still a pretty powerful car. I'm not complaining about power at all in the new EVs and the new AMG models of Mercedes, but I am talking about mostly the styling here. I don't think Mercedes is on the right track when it comes to their production cars, and also when it comes specifically to their AMG models. They look too much like normal Mercedeses, and they don't stand out like we have in the golden era right here with wings and crazy wide fenders, wide body kits. There's nothing of that going on anymore. Unfortunately, you have the SL43, 53, and I think the 65 or the 63, I can't remember. But why put the 43 in the lineup? It just doesn't make sense to dilute the AMG brand with a 43 SL. Call it a SL600 or something else, but don't smack the AMG badge onto cars like this that I think don't deserve it when it comes to power or styling. This SL43 is a good example of what not to call an AMG model. Then we have the Eqs Amg right here, and you know, I like the EQS from a technology standpoint, but I think Mercedes EQ line, honestly, I'm just not a big fan of how they design their cars. They look way too much alike the EQS, the EQC, and the EQE. They almost look identical, but with just different proportions, and size of them are different. And you can see here, this looks very, very much like the normal EQS. There's nothing special about this styling here, even though it has 761 horsepower, which is crazy. I can't wrap my head around that, specifically when it's EV power. The design is just not there, in my opinion. It just looks like a bean. The graphics are weak, but you can still see that it's a Mercedes, obviously, because they slapped the big logo in the front. I just wish that the AMG models of today could be a little different, a little more beefed up, and wings on it. Put some fun stuff, details back into the AMG brand, like we have in this beast. This is actually a 2023 model, so this is the AMG GT63 SE Performance. So it's a very long name, but it looks super cool. This is what I want more of from AMG, and I think this is maybe the last one of in the AMG lineup, the last 2023 model that will actually have this old AMG vibe to it. I do like that we have like 4 quad bazooka tailpipes. They don't need to be this big, but since it's an AMG, why not make it a little almost comical? Add some cool design features and graphic styling onto the cars. And I think they did a fantastic job with I'm a fan of this car. I think this is exactly what I want to see more of from AMG. Something special that sets it apart from the rest of the AMG GT lineup in this case. So I don't know where we're gonna go from here with AMG. I've been a fan of AMG since forever, since I was born, and I've always been a fan of the late 80s and the 90s into mid 2000s, and then it started to become a little morphed with the rest of the lineup. I think I was so surprised by the Hyundai and concepts bringing out some crazy designs like that actually look like they are very close to production. And imagine if Mercedes created, for example, take the 190e AMG or the Evo AMG down here, took this and modernized this into a performance EV. How cool would that be? I think that would sell like crazy, bringing back the wings, the more boxy styling, have the 5-spoke AMG wheels in a new design, maybe some EV inspired designs, and just bring that back and put that into production. I think that would be a hit for Mercedes, but I doubt we will see anything like that for Mercedes because they're focusing on this design language of the Mercedes EQS at the moment, and honestly it just doesn't get me excited, even though it is an AMG car. I feel like they're losing too many AMG traditions too fast, and I just don't think that is a good thing.